When 4 videos in a day just isn't enough because the NHL has released the All-Star Game rosters and some people are losing their minds, myself included, in some way. So let's get right into this, because why the hell not? I'm tired and I want to go to bed. Yes, it's 7 p.m., but it's what happens when you mess up your schedule for the sake of making sure you can watch the Bruins win the Winter Classic. My opinion on that, very happy. This is the Atlantic Division All-Star roster. Now, here is the thing, and I feel like a lot of people have lost sight of this, myself included when I first looked at this, but the thing you have to remember is that every team gets a representative. So when you look here, and you see that Jimmy Howard and Carey Price are the 2 goalies from the Atlantic Division, you might very well be asking yourself, how the hell is that possible? And in a way, I agree, because when you look at save percentages, right, Carey Price, way down here in 43rd with a 904. He's been playing really well lately. Does that matter? I don't know if it does. That's what the majority of this video is going to be for me, by the way, is debating really whether or not this format should even be the case. Should every team get a representative? And in that instance, did the teams, or, you know, did the NHL get it right for the teams? As far as I'm aware, fan voting is just for the captaincy and not for the rest of the squad. So Carey Price making it in, to me, is absolutely ridiculous. Not to mention Jimmy Howard as well with the 920. Again, if we were going to sit here and talk about the best goalies in the Atlantic Division, Vasilevsky, Anderson, and Yaroslav Halak, well ahead. Well ahead. And if we want to talk, right, let's talk about Montreal, shall we? Let's talk about Montreal. Let's do that. Let's take a look using this horrible website. But let's take a look at the Montreal Canadiens, shall we? Was Carey Price really the best representative? Was he? Over Max Domi? Thomas Tatar? And you could have brought Tatar guy to the game? Come on now. Now look, you look at this and you say, well, who would you have dropped from the forwards? Maybe you drop Austin Matthews, maybe you drop John Tavares, and instead you have Domi, and for a goalie, you have Frederik Andersen, who absolutely deserves to be there. How many Leafs fans are going to complain about that? Probably not many. Probably quite a few, though. Let's be honest. If this was just the best players deserve to get in, there is an argument for Matthews, Tavares, Morgan Rielly, Frederik Andersen, Mitch Marner. But it's not the way it works. So sure, you have some teams, Tampa and Toronto, that have multiple representatives, but if every team needs a representative, it's going to complicate things. But when you still seemingly get it wrong by putting Carey Price in the All-Star game over a Halak, especially over an Anderson, rather than having a Thomas Tatar there, or especially a Max Domi with the season he's had, it's worrisome. Not to mention with Detroit, we've already sat there and talked about the goalies that were better within the division. I want to know how Dylan Larkin isn't the Red Wings representative. Same thing. Same thing. Jimmy Howard, strong season. More than likely, you could have put Frederik Andersen in there. Maybe taken out another forward. Again, I can't help but say John Tavares over Matthews. And you go for it. That's not that John Tavares doesn't deserve to be there, but I think this list is a little bit absurd when you look at it because of that 1 player per team requirement MLB style that they have. And it is kind of frustrating because you're going to have more snubs than how many you would otherwise. So, if it's up to me, Dylan Larkin goes as Detroit's representative. If it's up to me, Max Domi goes as Montreal's representative. But that's not the way it works, unfortunately. I mean, you can look here. Kucherov going, absolutely, makes all the sense in the world. Austin Matthews going, makes all the sense in the world. Bergeron, he's missed time, so I get why he's not going. His all-star game and his display of look at how great I am was the Winter Classic. And boy, isn't he great. Mitch Marner not making it, Braden Point not making it, it's a little bit excessive. Now, obviously, we do have the examples of players saying, like, I'm not going to go. Alex Ovechkin, for example, today announced that he wasn't going to go, and that's all well and good. But I just don't understand. And like I said, the big thing for me is defenseman. Morgan Rielly is a major snub. I think I'm more angry than a lot of Leafs fans are. But Morgan Rielly is a major snub. Anderson's a major sub. Thomas Chabot going. Hot Sam Bacho should have worn the shirt. Solid option. Like I said, for the Florida Panthers, Keith Yandel, I'm okay with. The only guy I'd list ahead of him is Morgan Rielly, since Chabot made it out of the Atlantic Division. But if you want to talk about what Florida Panthers could have made it rather than him, Jonathan Huberdeau, Alex Barkov, both having really strong years. Only so many forward spots to go around. But again, with that one per team deal, it complicates things and results in an awful lot of snubs. So as far as who deserved to go, I'm not going to say any of the forwards didn't deserve to go. Keith Yandel, again, if we don't have that one per requirement, would have chosen Morgan Rielly. For goaltenders, between Vasi, who, in fairness, injury and everything, I go with Freddie Anderson and I go with Yaroslav Halak, who has started more than 20 games and has the highest save percentage among goaltenders with more than 20 games started. But that is the way this All-Star game works now, isn't it? In the Metro, I have not looked at this. It's Holtby and Lundqvist. Let's take a look at this, shall we? First and foremost, let's ignore the Florida Panthers for a moment. Can I sort it by division? I can't, because, oh no, you can't. Look at that. Beautiful. Look at you, NHL.com, stepping your game up. So if we look at the goaltenders here with at least 20 starts, Casey DeSmith, Thomas Greiss, both higher save percentages than Lundqvist. I can see why you'd give it to Lundqvist over to Smith. And Holtby's been strong as well. And with Ovechkin not going, I guess you would give it to Holtby. But in terms of someone who's really been snubbed due to the format, Casey DeSmith. Say what you want about his history and calling his character into question due to past decisions he's made. But in terms of being a solid NHL goaltender this year, he's been phenomenal. And he is absolutely a snub. Now, whether or not I would have chosen anybody else on the New York Rangers, well, let's just take a look here, shall we? I mean, I love Henrik Lundqvist. It is cool to see him back in the All-Star game, right? No doubt about that. Is he their best representative? To be honest, probably. I mean, you talk about the season that Kevin Hayes has had. He's been great. Zibanejad's been strong. You could have gone, I mean, hell, Kreider too. I don't want Rangers fans to get pissed. If you had to choose, you probably go with Lundqvist just to, you know, have more open spots for other forwards and the two other defensemen. But I don't know, man. I feel like DeSmith gets the short end of the stick on this one. And then Washington-wise, who would you have in the All-Star game? I mean, Backstrom, Kuznetsov, John Carlson as a defenseman. You had options. John Carlson did make it, which is great. I don't know. Since you already had one cap, that's my reaction right now. Like I said, I didn't look up this before because I knew once I saw the Atlantic I had to react to this live. If John Carlson's already going for the caps, why is Braden Holtby an All-Star? Why is that not Casey DeSmith? That doesn't make sense. How are we not rewarding the players who have had the better season? That doesn't make sense. That is absurd. Like, am I wrong here? Am I looking at the wrong numbers? Casey DeSmith, 21 starts, 926 save percentage. Braden Holtby, 26 starts, a 912. 5 more starts is the difference, I guess? Like, is it off of games started? It's not, because Bobrovsky didn't make it, but guess what? That's because, you know, he has a 910. But, I mean, he's only, you know, 910 to 912. He has 2 more starts than Holtby. Should be Bobrovsky, right? I don't understand this. I don't understand this. Like I said, there are some bad snubs in the Atlantic. Casey DeSmith, I am sorry. Unless you decline to go, that's outrageous. With one cap already going after Ovechkin declined, that is outrageous. And amongst other defensemen, I mean, again, I don't think I'd send Bobrovsky for the Blue Jackets. So if we take a look at the Blue Jackets, oh my god, this website sometimes. But I wanted to use it. Hey, shout out to Connor McDavid, who I'm sure made it. Actually, he did. He was a captain, wasn't he? Regardless, I wanted to use their website to talk about this because, you know, hilarity and all. But when talking about Blue Jackets players, Cam Atkinson has had a great season. He is also listed, right? Artemi Panarin has had a great season. So Atkinson already making it, right? So let's take a look at what other defenseman could have been snubbed, or does Seth Jones deserve to be there? Let's find out. So we go to ye old Metro Division, and let's look amongst the defensemen. Does Seth Jones deserve to be there? John Carlson made it. Justin Schultz has been hurt. Chris Letang, Seth Jones. I'd probably go for Chris Letang over Seth Jones, but I don't necessarily disagree with it. I don't necessarily disagree with it. Like I said, me personally, out of the goaltenders and defensemen, swap Holtby for Casey DeSmith, and amongst the defensemen, it's a toss-up between Jones and Letang. I would personally go with Chris Letang over Seth Jones, and then some people will be like, well, the advanced stats defensively, and I'm not saying you're wrong. We're looking at point totals, though. That's not as egregious, which is nice. The big thing will be whether or not there are any forwards who are feeling just a tad bit slighted out of this division. Sidney Crosby is going, rightfully so. Ovechkin has declined. Phil Kessel, not on the team. Really? Kessel's not going. Panarin's not going. Nick Backstrom's not going. Giroux is, obviously, so that's smart of them. Taylor Hall, not going. Is going. Missed him at the bottom of the list there. My bad. Okay, Atkinson's going. No Kuznetsov. Aho was at the top of the list. No Malkin. God, they should have sent Tom Wilson. Is Barzal there? Barzal's there. Okay. Okay, not that many egregious exemptions. For me, personally, I probably don't send Cam Atkinson. And that's not, well, no, in fairness, yeah, you can send Lundqvist. I was thinking about what other Rangers you could possibly put in, but yeah, I mean, if you don't want to send, I mean, I don't know why Holtby's there. Swap him out with the Smith, and you still have a Caps representative in John Carlson. If you wanted to, for some reason, send a Rangers forward over Lundqvist, there's room to drop Atkinson because you have a Blue Jackets representative. I'm just very surprised that Kessel isn't going because he should be. And I'm very surprised that it is Cam Atkinson over Artemi Panarin. I know Atkinson has 24 goals and all, but I don't know. So in terms of anything overly ridiculous, the Metro, much more tame compared to the Atlantic. There's just that one example of how the hell is Casey DeSmith not there, as compared to the Atlantic, where it's just an absolute shit show. So there's that. Again, I can't look at that without being like, how is Riley? How is Anderson? You could make it work even with the restrictions. I just don't understand. Let's take a look at the Central. Kane, McKinnon, O'Reilly, Rantanen, Scheifele, Wheeler, Heiskanen. I didn't even, wow. You're a Heiskanen. Yossi, Dubnik, and Pekka. Let's take a look at the Central. I never know how to navigate this site. In fairness, I don't use this site often for stats, but you know what? The NHL deserves its time in the spotlight. Wait, what? Goalie summary. Central Division. Oh, you're so broken. Oh, you're so broken sometimes. What the hell? What are you even doing? Why is your website not working? I didn't misclick anything. Did I hit refine results? Right? Am I seriously not allowed to look at goalie stats right now? Did you break? Are you okay, website? Or you might not be okay. Let's try this again. Hold on. This is wonderful. Come on. There you go. Look at you. Look at you stepping up. Of course, you're not leaving me the sword option that you did before. Oh, come on. Let's see. Come on. You ready? Central. There you go. Look at you working. There you go. Someone designed this and got paid. So we look at goalies in the Central Division, right? Ben Bishop leading the way with a .925 save percentage. Pekka Rinne at a .920. Dubnyk at a .912. So, Ben Bishop not making it. Amongst the Dallas Stars, Miro Heiskanen made it. So far, Ben Bishop's looking like a bit of a snub. But if we look at defenseman, if we look at the old defenseman, what do we got here, right? What do we got here for defenseman in the Central? Dustin Byfuglien. Is he still hurt? He might be. I honestly don't remember. He might not be. Roman Josi made it. No, Byfuglien has to be hurt, right? Is he hurt? Did he decline to go? Where is Dustin Byfuglien? When did he last play? December 29th. He's healthy. How is Dustin Byfuglien not in the All-Star game? Did he decline? Like, I know Wheeler and Scheifele are in. How the hell is Dustin Byfuglien not in the All-Star game for the Central? That is mind-boggling. Absolutely mind-boggling. Wow. Okay. So, Roman Josi making it. I'm cool with that. I mean, probably should have it over Suter. Tyson Barrie also deserves a shout. Where is Heiskanen? Okay, I mean, again, points aren't everything, but interesting. Was he really the only representative that you could have for Dallas? So, I gotta be honest. I mean, you have your one wild representative with Dubnyk, or Dubnyk. I don't quite understand how he's in still. And Miro Heiskanen making it over Dustin Byfuglien is kind of mind-boggling to me. Let me take a look at the Minnesota Wild roster. Is there really nobody else that you could have put into this team? You're telling me Mikael Granlund's not good enough to make it? Really? Really? If we look at the Central skaters entirely, so Mikko Rantanen, Nathan MacKinnon, those were two guarantees. McKinnon, I mean, it's insane what they've done this season. Blake Wheeler makes it. Mark Scheifele, Patrick Kane, all givens. No Landeskog, which I understand because that's a bit much. Granlund, 9th in point per game in the Central. I mean, I know, again, you have to have a blue, and Ryan O'Reilly's probably the right guy to have. I guess you have to have Dubnyk in. I guess you have to. And if you're a Jets fan, you'd probably want Wheeler and Scheifele in over Byfuglien. I don't know, man. It's just something doesn't sit right for me for Miro Heiskanen to be an all-star. Like, again, I know you need somebody from the Dallas Stars to be there. I mean, if you snub Scheifele, send Radulov, and have Byfuglien in instead of Heiskanen, I think that would look a little bit better. At least it wouldn't be as egregious. Maybe Miro Heiskanen, and let me know, because I haven't looked lately, is absolutely dominating in terms of zone prevention, you know, entry prevention, zone exits. Maybe he is just lights out, like top 5 in terms of rookies all time and top 5 in general this season in certain metrics. But that's the first thing that comes to mind. I can see why Dubnyk's there. In fairness, we'll look at Minnesota just to see if there's any. Again, there was Granlund. I'm all right with Dubnyk being in. Again, amongst the goaltenders, it does kind of suck. I mean, if it's me, take Dubnyk out, bring in Ben Bishop, right? Dubnyk out, bring in Bishop. Scratch Scheifele, bring in Radulov. Scratch Heiskanen, bring in Dustin Byfuglien. So again, rather than Scheifele, it's Radulov. Rather than Heiskanen, it's Byfuglien. Rather than Dubnyk, it's Ben Bishop. That's what I'd go with. Don't know if you agree, but seems like it would make sense given the format. And then we go to the Pacific, if it wants to load. Twitter, thank you. Fleury and Gibson in goal. Doughty, Carlson, Burns. 3 defensemen, huh? Pettersson, Pavelski, McDavid, Keller, and Goodrow. Let's take a look at the goalies first, since we are already here. Okay, goalie summary, please. Thank you. So taking a look, John Gibson makes it, which there would have been a riot by me if he didn't. From there, you have the argument. I probably would still give it to Fleury over Rittich. I mean, 37 starts compared to 20. Rittich has been very solid, but I think you have to give it to Fleury. And in terms of other Golden Knights that would have been worthy, if there were any, let's find out, to be honest. They haven't had an amazing season. Brandon Peary, yes, I'm Brandon Peary. Let's do it. Alex Tuck, who I really like, and I'm glad he's nearly point a game. You probably made the right call sending Fleury instead of Rittich. So, goaltending, I don't have an issue with. Amongst the defensemen, though, in the Pacific, let's take a look here, shall we? What do we got? Petrovic, Steele for Edmonton. Brent Burns has made it. No Giordano. Carlson makes it. And then again, Drew Doughty. Point totals aren't everything. You need an LA representative. I don't know if that's the one to make. Now, there will be the argument of whether or not Gio should have gone over Johnny Gaudreau, and I'll take a look at those stats in a second. I guess the bigger thing here is whether or not Doughty should have been the player from Los Angeles. And with the season that he's had, yeah, you had no choice. You know what? I give it to the NHL on that. You had no choice. You had to send Drew Doughty. So, because of this stupid rule, I would love for the All-Star game to just be, these are the best players. Oh, Los Angeles doesn't have an All-Star? Yeah, it's because you suck this year. Deal with it. Now, of course, if you're in Los Angeles, you know, you kind of want someone there to be like, hey, you can root for this guy. He's from your team. It's in San Jose. I don't know how many Kings fans are making the trek. I mean, quite a few Kings fans are probably making the trek down, but let's be honest. You know, or would it be the trek down or up? No, San Jose is south of Los Angeles. Maybe. Regardless, I agree with all that. So then we get to the forwards. Let's see what we have. Connor McDavid, Johnny Gaudreau. If you can only send one Calgary Flame, it's Johnny Gaudreau. So then you have, of course, your one Canuck. You already have 3 Sharks, which is nuts. Yeah, I have a 1 Canuck, though, with Pettersson, which, I mean, obviously, he is your one to send. Although, shout out to Counts, 3 points in 3 games. Play him more, Vancouver. And you have Clayton Keller in Arizona. I don't know what abbreviation they use for Arizona. Yeah, he's the guy to send. So, I can't disagree with Keller. I can't disagree with Pettersson and Goodrow. McDavid and Pavelski make it as well. Pavelski, in fairness, actually here, let's just sort this out by forwards. Where is Joe Pavelski on this list? 20th. That's not a good look. How does Pavelski make it in over Draisaitl aside from host bias? How is Sean Monahan not there? That's bad. I'm sorry, that's bad. Like I said, there are other examples of just how the hell are these players not here, but Joe Pavelski making it in because it's in San Jose over Draisaitl, over Monahan, over Matthew Tkachuk, over Elias Lindholm, who is having a, in my opinion, underrated season. I have not heard anybody talk about how Lindholm has 44 points in 40 games. Logan Couture deserves to make it in more than Joe Pavelski. So, that's just a, hey, he's the captain of our team, and it's in San Jose, let's give him a good moment, which is fine, I guess. But look at this, you have Couture, you have Meyer, you have Hertl, all above Joe Pavelski in terms of points per game. I don't know. So, in terms of the least egregious, I would give that to the Pacific Division, although Joe Pavelski being in is nothing more than them wanting to give, nothing more than them wanting to give him, like, his moment in San Jose. In the Metro, I think Holtby being in over Casey DeSmith is outrageous. Flat out outrageous. In the Central, like I said, there is room to get Bufflin in there. Ben Bishop should also be there. And in the Atlantic, I'm sorry, but how is Freddie Anderson not in? How is Morgan Riley not in? Take out Yandel, bring in Riley, take out John Tavares, bring in Huberdeau or Barkov, take out Carey Price, bring in Huberdeau, Barkov. Just that goaltending situation's a mess. That's not even close. There's no way. I mean, I can kind of see it with Jimmy Howard, but when you have someone like Freddie Anderson not going, that's too much, man. That's too much. So, in terms of who got it right, I'll give it to the Pacific. In terms of that's fairly well accurate. And then from there, I mean, the Metro and the Central are both, there's some issues, and then the Atlantic is just kind of a shit show. So, there you go. My live reaction / breakdown of the All-Star rosters. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with me? Am I completely off the mark here with these? Do you like the rule of 1 All-Star per team, or should it just be the best players in the season thus far, unless you have, again, an Ovechkin who decides he doesn't want to go? Let me know. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time, where who knows what I'll complain about next.